I encourage everyone to use the chat feature for asking questions during the presentation. And at the conclusion of the presentation, we'll go through and answer as many questions as we can. Any questions that we cannot get to, feel free to contact us directly after the meeting, or we'll do our best to get back to you with answers. And with that, it's 5 minutes after the hour, so we will get started. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, wherever you may be around the globe. From our registration list, it looks like we had probably 70 countries represented, which is absolutely fantastic and very exciting. And we're very pleased to be able to present today the new features and new release of GeoNode 4.0. My name is Ryan Burley. I'm the North American Business Development Director. And we also have Alessio Fabiani and Giovanni Allegri, as well as Elena Gallo, who will be providing a demonstration on GeoNode 4.0 at about 30 minutes in. I will give a brief corporate overview, and then we'll get on to the important good stuff, which is why you guys are on the call. For those of you who are not familiar with GeoSolutions, or maybe you are, it's good for a quick review. We are leaders in open source. GeoSolutions provides commercial support for open source software tools such as GeoServer, MapStore, GeoNetwork, and what we are presenting today, which is GeoNode. We provide enterprise support services, customized solutions, deployment subscription, professional training, and basically anything involving large amounts of spatiotemporal data and getting that data from servers to clients using open source protocols such as WMS, WFS. That is our specialty. And we have a very high expertise or concentration of expertise within GeoSolutions for providing whatever support you need across the open source Geo environment. I encourage all of you to visit our website and check out our schedule of trainings, as well as our blog posts that we periodically post to for continued knowledge share on open source tools. We're trusted by more than 200 clients with customers all over the globe, as you can see from the list of attendees today. We have specialty helping out multiple industries. Basically, we do not have any preference for industry. We work across the board for all industries. You see some of our customers listed here in international development, such as NATO, World Bank, UNESCO. We also work with large satellite imagery data providers such as MDA and Maxar and several others. In the industries that we work within include space, Med-Oceano, government, of course, smart cities, autonomous vehicle companies, emergency response, you name it. Anybody working again with spatial temporal data or with any of the open source tools, we have specialty across multiple industries. We are very highly involved with OSGeo, and we hope to see you in Florence in August. Hopefully some of you are going to be able to be there for the Phosphor-G conference. We participate and contribute to open source or to Open Geospatial Consortium. We are involved in the test beds as well as the disaster pilot projects, and kind of at the center of the universe and pulling various technologies and capabilities and people together for solving problems. And we are also United States Geospatial Intelligence Foundation members. And you'll see us globally in the open source community when you're out and about. Our distinctive traits: we are lead developers of GeoNode, GeoServer, MapStore, and GeoNetwork. We have vast experience with serving raster. We are the core contributors and developers of the JI extension and the ImageIO extension and several other tools. We have vast experience with vector data serving across open protocols such as WFS, WMS, vector tile serving with OGV, etc. No matter what kind of database management system you're working with, we have specialty and experience working across all of those, Oracle, SQL, et cetera, and extensive experience with creating WebGIS applications with OpenLayers, Leaflet, Cesium, Mapbox.gl, and several others. We have, again, unparalleled multi-industry experience across the board. Our key members are listed here on this roster, and today you will be hearing from our experts, our rock stars in open source, Giovanni Allegri and Alessio Fabiani. And again, Elena will be providing a demonstration about 30 minutes in. So with that, welcome again to the GeoNode 4.0 presentation. We hope that you take a lot of information from this. And again, we'll be happy to answer questions at the conclusion, and feel free to contact us anytime. We are always happy to support your open source development and your open source projects. So with that, Giovanni, I will let you take it away.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ryan. Well, I'll let Alessio start the presentation, and I will take over later.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Today we are going to show some new feature of the upcoming GeoNode 4.0. As probably many of you already know, there's a release candidate version of GeoNode 4.0 already out, which has, I would say, several issues, several bugs, and that now have been stabilized and improved. In the meantime, we were able to add some quite nice features that we are going to show you today in details. For who does not know what is GeoNode, I mean, just a very quick introduction. GeoNode, it's a web framework. Long story short, GeoNode is a web interface that allows non-GIS experts to easily manage their geospatial datasets. Okay, so the main scope of GeoNode is to make the life easy for people that needs to share their data sets, that want to also introduce a sort of security mechanism. I would say quite advanced in GeoNode 4 at this time, that wants to enrich their geospatial data sets along with metadata and other non-geospatial data sets like any kind of media contents that might be related to geospatial data. In a way that it's easy, human friendly, and easy to use. Another one of the main feature of GeoNode also is that for free, whenever you publish your geospatial datasets into the framework, GeoNode will automatically expose those datasets through the standard of OGC protocols. Okay, so it is interoperable. GeoNode is also a catalog that allows you to share your datasets along with any other OGC compliant system. Despite the user interface aims to be easy to use, the architecture actually is not that easy. It's quite complex. GeoNode, it's an integration system, basically composed by several components in several layers. On top, on the front end, we have a GIS web-based client written in typically HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Currently, the default one is MapStore, and we will see some new features along the way. Then in the middle, we have Django, which is a very powerful Python-based web framework that allows us to develop the framework, the middleware framework, the security subsystem, the REST interfaces, and allows us to interact with the databases. We have the database, which by default is PostgreSQL with GIS extensions, but eventually it would be possible to attach other databases, at least to the GeoNode catalog. And finally, we have the geospatial services, which by default are provided by GeoServer and GeoWebCache. The capabilities, the most important ones, as I already said quickly before, are importing geospatial datasets, document, and other media through the web interface, allow people to create thematic maps, but also other kind of web tools like dashboards and Geostories, manage the security through the web interface, also edit the data and edit the styles to the web interface, attach appropriate permissions and enrich the datasets with the appropriate metadata, and expose all those datasets through the standard OGC and REST web services. Release history, as you can see, this list is growing every year. The first version of GeoNode was in the far August 2010, and we are now going to release the GeoNode 4.0. GeoNode 3.3.2 has been already released, as long as GeoNode 3.2.3. which is basically the latest version of the 3.2 branch. Here we have a small summary of the most recent releases of GeoNode. Currently, we are here, almost releasing GeoNode 4. Okay, you can test the various GeoNode versions by yourself. Those are the URLs that you can use. You can self-register, so you can create a standard user and start playing with the several instances. On the first one, stable.demos.geonode.org, we have currently a 3.3.2 version running. On development.demo.geonode.org, we have the latest 4.0 for X, but this is basically the stable release 4.0, the candidate release 4.0 of GeoNode. And on the master.demo.geonode.org, we have the most updated development, and this might result a bit unstable sometimes. If you're using an old version, consider to upgrade. This upgrade won't be easy, unfortunately. Well, for the backend and the middleware, yes, the migrations are almost automatic, except for a few things that you have to be aware of. But I would say it's relatively easy to update the database of GeoNode. Probably the biggest issue is on the front end, because the web interface is completely different. The approach is completely different from the 3.x versions of GeoNode. How much is different? Well, we will see now, along with Giovanni. So what's new in GeoNode? Go ahead, Giovanni. The floor is yours.
Let me.
Would you like to share your screen? Yeah.
Yeah, I can share it.
Okay. Let me stop my sharing.
Yeah, if I only find the right button. Okay. So where is it? It's just a few seconds. And I've lost the control. Okay. Okay, here I am. So we are at release 4.0. I will move quickly on the presentation because we have Elena from the team that will give you a live demo of GeoNode 4 with showcasing how to create a map, a Geostory, and a dashboard from scratch. So, I mean, a demo is worth 1,000 words. So, yeah, by the way, you will see that we have a completely new UI. This has been one of the most big changes. I mean, a lot of changes in the backend, but they're not visible to the end users. For the end user, the UI has changed a lot. We have still some corners with legacy interfaces that will be changed in the future, but for the moment, the biggest changes are to the publishing functionality and the viewing of the resources that you create. We have worked a lot to simplify the interface and make it more straightforward and reduce the number of clicks and steps that you have to take to manage your data. We have reduced the number of pages, trying to distillate the relevant features and functionality in a few places and in contextual menus. By the way, we have kept the ability to do well, to apply your own branding as we had before. So logos, colors, main colors. It's even easier than before. We have reduced the set of options that you have, but with a higher level of flexibility in the colors, in the themes management. And moreover, we have kept the ability to build your own pages. So the custom pages, technically they are Django templates, but I mean, they live outside of the client, of the main client of the applications, which is built with MapStore. So it's a single page application built with the React technology and MapStore technology. So the main functionality for the catalog viewer, the filtering, navigating, the editors are bundled into a single page application, but you have the freedom to create your own pages. And we are working even to give more flexibility by extracting some components from the client to be embedded into your custom pages. For example, having the grid, this grid inside a custom page to have pages dedicated to certain categories of data, so pre-filtered data and so on. So we have trying to find a good balance between a more effective single page and efficient single page application and the flexibility to build your own GeoNode. We have worked to optimize it for mobile. So it's optimized. I mean, I wouldn't say it's mobile first, but it's mobile ready. And for mobile, we have a reduced set of functionality. So to avoid cluttering the UI, and I mean, we have left what is generally relevant when you use GeoNode from mobile, which is not for editing or updating the metadata or doing management. It's more about viewing data. So the single page application is these. I mean, it's the same page as the home page. I mean, this is what you see here is the home page, but once you open the filter panel, you will recognize the sidebar that you had in GeoNode before with a lot of filtering options, and you can even customize the filters. So if you want to add filters, you can do that through the settings. You can filter your own data sets. So basically making this page your workspace, your personal workspace. And you have quick previews now. So without having to switch to the detailed page of the resource, which requires loading the resource and everything. So it will be easy to navigate like a la Google, let's say. So you can click on the cards and see the live preview on the right. And yes, this is what I was saying, your personal workspace. You can switch between a grid view and a list view. So you have the typical workspace view. We have enhanced the editors and the viewers. So now you don't have a page with the metadata and the details, and then you have to open the page to actually see the resource. Everything is in a single page. So for documents where available, you have the viewer directly in the page, like in case of PDFs. For geostories, for maps, for whatever, as soon as you open for viewing the resource, you get the resource. And on the right side, you have the panel with the information, which is a reduced set of metadata about the resource. We have worked a lot to simplify the upload. We are still working on that. There are new announcements coming out in the future versions of GeoNode 4 in the next months. But it's already a completely different experience for the user without the many options that you had before that were difficult to understand and difficult to manage. Now you just have to drag and drop your files, your data sets, your documents on the left sidebar and start uploading. We have implemented limiting. So through settings, you can set the limits for documents and data sets, and we can also configure user rate limiting. So the size of the data sets that the single user can upload, and the number of parallel uploads that the user can do. This is really important to avoid killing the backend services if you don't have a huge backend. And work in progress, we are currently, this is something not yet released and not yet public, but we are working on an importing of GeoPackage vector layers. And this goes hand in hand with a review of some technical aspects of the import procedure behind the scenes, which will provide significant improvements to the performance and the stability in particular for big data sets, but in general, it will be less error prone. and this won't be available in the first release of GeoNode 4, but it will be, I think, in the releases right after that. Yes, in general, I mean, this is the how it looked before, and this is how it looks now. You can see it's very simpler. So now you don't set the permissions here when you upload, but as you do in general with any platform, you upload first and then you decide what to do with that data, who should see your data. So you decide the sharing options for your data sets. So a big conceptual shift that is being implemented is from a public by default to a private by default management, which is what you get with any platform. Private means that you are the owner, so of course you have full control of the data, but you start by uploading your own data sets and make it private and have it private, so without the risk to open data to everyone that you didn't mean to do, and afterward you can decide how to manage it. Of course, this is configurable. So if you want GeoNode to behave like before, you can leave it as it is and have it public by default. And another big improvement that we have now is that we can also import data from remote sources. This is available through the API, the import API at the moment. It's not an option available from the UI, but it will be available in the future. Yeah, okay, I will go through this quickly. So this is what I was saying. the integrated viewers with info panel. We have made enhancements to the metadata. You see that it's the old metadata wizard that we had before. It works well, so for the moment we are keeping it, but we are applying enhancements to the metadata too. We already have the ability to create custom metadata schemes, so you can implement your own custom metadata. Implement your own fields that extend the Dublin core and the ISO metadata that we have by default. And the goal is to have what is said fair resources. So it's the FAIR principles that you will see everywhere today. We talk about findable, available, interoperable, and reusable resources. And that's what we want to achieve with GeoNode. Yeah, there are several improvements. These are the technical things, let's say what I was saying before, the ability to have custom fields and filters on metadata. And yeah, having multiple thesaurus. So this is something technical. I wouldn't focus on that. If you have questions, we can talk about it more later. GeoNode has, like before, an integrated editor for styling maps and datasets. This has been improved with the new versions of map stores. So now you have a lot more classifications for raster data and well-known markers. So it's been enhanced a lot. In several situations, the visual editor is enough for doing a lot of advanced styling. But of course, if you need full control of the styling, you can still switch to the textual editor where you can type your SLD code and do all your fancy styling. Improvements to the security. Yes, we have improved the security, which is now called sharing. So on the back end, it's the usual permission and system that we know from past versions, but from the front end, it's being completely changed. Now you don't have the matrix of permissions per user, but you have the users, and then you select for each user and group what you want him to do. We have a global permissions for public users, anyone, and for registered users. And then you can have fine-grained control over the users and groups. We have geofencing, so restricting access to specific areas, of course, only for special datasets. And what we have done in this release has been a review of the enforcement of these rules above all, not only the UI, but everything. So the REST APIs and the GC services. So everything goes under the same rules, so without any leakage or inconsistency. Yeah, so instead of opening several windows, now we have everything contextual. I mean, everything. We're trying to make the most from the contextual tools to have one click away features. And we have created the harvesters in GeoNode 4. This is a completely new concept that extend and expand what we had with the remote services in GeoNode 3. Now we have the ability, as before, to harvest, to publish and manage services from remote resources, WMS, other GeoNode instances, and ArcGIS map server. But now you can also create your own custom harvesters, as we have done for some customers that were exposing data over PostgreSQL API. So we created a harvester for PostgreSQL API, and we have a live experience now with the customer that have a scheduled harvester that periodically uses the PostgreSQL APIs from his backend services to pull data and publish data on their GeoNode hub instance. And we have a new QGIS plugin for GeoNode, which is being released For the moment, it's been released. It's under the Cartosa repo, which is the partner that built the QGIS plugin with us. But in the near future, it will be moved to the GeoNode repository. So it will, yeah, it's already public, but I mean, it will be moved to the community repos in GitHub soon. With the plugin, you can preview the datasets. You can connect with authentication to GeoNode and preview WMS, WFS, and WCS services. So you can actually download the data, edit the data, and push the edits to GeoNode, and also manage the styling from QGIS, and also upload the new datasets from QGIS to GeoNode. Well, I wouldn't spend more time on these, and I would rather, yeah, we are at map store Geostories and dashboards, and you will see what they are. I mean, you will already know them from GeoNode 3, at least the dashboards, the Geostories are new, and these, sorry, the reverse, Geostories and dashboards. Elena will show you what they represent with the demo. So I will leave the stage to her. Elena, are you there? Elena is not there. Just a second. Okay, she's coming. She had a technical issue, but she's entering the room.
I'll jump in real quick and just say there are a lot of fantastic questions being posted to the chat.
Yeah, Alessio could already answer some of them. I don't know.
Yeah, Alessio is doing his best to answer them as they come in. If you could, please use the Q&A tab instead, right next to the chat. And that way, if we're unable to see it in the chat flow, the Q&A makes it easier. Also, leave your email address. If we can't get to it today, then we'll be able to email you some answers and connect that way.
Just a few more seconds. We are trying to fix the technical issue with the Elena. Okay, so I don't know, do we want to answer some of the questions, Ryan? Alessio, I mean, why?
Yeah, I'm ready providing some responses into the Q&A section.
If we're going to answer a couple now while we're waiting for Elena, Niam Magan had a question. Niam asks whether it is possible to connect an API to GeoNode to display live data.
I guess already provide a response for that one.
Okay.
Basically, the response is that GeoNode 4 supports what we call harvesters. Probably Giovanni already showed something about that. The harvesters are basically asynchronous modules, pluggable, that allows you to harvest data remotely from other catalogs. Currently, the default one implemented into GeoNode are harvesters that supports harvesting from other GeoNode instances, also legacy ones. Harvesters that allow you to import data from a WMS service, and harvesters that allows you to import data from an ArcGIS image service, WMS compliant. We have a few use cases from our customers that asked us to implement custom harvesters. And we did it, basically. And in this case, in particular, well, let me do a step back. The harvesters are capable of ingesting not only layers that now in GeoNode 4 are called datasets, but also maps and documents. So also any kind of resource present in GeoNode. Currently, we created some harvesters for importing documents and some hazard alerts into the system. Of course, if you need some custom harvester, at this time you will need to develop your own by implementing the available interfaces, or at least there's no huge request in the community for a specific type of harvester.
Okay, I think Elena has some internet issues, so I will start the demo myself, and then I will switch control to her if she will be able to connect. Okay, so I will share my screen again. Okay, so this is GeoNode. This is the development instance, so it's the one that you can see online by yourself. So it's basically the version that we are going to release soon. I mean, tomorrow or after tomorrow, we will release the second release candidate of 4.0. And as Alessio said, the end of July, we will release the first stable version of it. So this is the front page, switching between list view and grid view. Currently, I'm logged in as an administrator, but everyone can, of course, log in and register. Here we have open registration now, but you can configure your instance to have logged in registration, and or even if you want, you can have registration with moderation. So you receive requests to register and you can allow, and with the email confirmation to have more control over fake accounts. So we have a quick view now of all the resources. It's an infinite scroll of the resources without distinction by type. So here we have Geostories, dashboards, maps, datasets, and documents in a single view, with featured resources at the top, if any is available. And you can click on the filtering to extend the view and select what you want to show. So subset of vector types or featured. So these are the 4 featured datasets that I have. My resources, so resources that have been uploaded by myself, and all the rest is what you already know from previous versions. So by who's the creators and owner. If you have categorized your data or assigned keywords, you can, of course, select this. And what is important here is that every filter that you set is being applied to the URL. So you can directly share your URL and you will get the same view that you have now. And this is also what makes it possible to have custom menus, to have views of pre-filtered data. So for example, I could have a custom menu with my resources that will link to this filter. This filtering is what also is used for the API resources, for the API endpoints. So a preview, as I said, a live preview of the resource is while you switch on the card, you will see the live preview here. And if you click on the view or on the title of the resource, you are redirected to the full page. So as I said, you have already the viewer of the resource with a quick panel, with a quick info on the right, and all the tools on the top bar. So we have common tools that are common to any resource on the left, and specific tools for the type of resource that you are viewing. So editing capabilities for editing styles, metadata, and we will see it later. The sharing options is what I was saying before. You have ability to take the links to the page, to the resource, and choose who can do what on your resource, choosing the users and the groups to apply the permissions. So, but I don't want to go through every single feature. I would prefer to show you how to do something with the map. Of course, Elena is more prepared than me on this, but I will try to do my best to show you something. She had prepared some final products, which are dashboards and Geostories. If we see it like a stack of or a pyramid, you have data sets and documents and remote resources, or services and resources at the bottom. Then you can, these are the basic, so these are your assets, let's say. Then on top of this, you can create maps. Of course, maps can be created for data sets, spatial data sets. Then on top of maps, you can create geostories and dashboards. Okay, so the more you go to the right here, the more higher level of presentation you gain. So in this example, we have, well, we can see it in the feature. We have a dashboard and we have a geostory. So let's start with the dashboard. The dashboard is a visualization, in this case, of a single data set. So the data set is this one, US states map. And on top of this data set, Elena has built these charts and textual widgets, numerical widgets and tables that are built from the attributes, so the actual data behind this spatial data set. I will show you how this is built afterward. So this is a dashboard. And the more, I mean, the more we move forward with MapStore, the more type of widgets are available. We are increasing the widgets, and we are also planning to give the option to embed personal custom widgets that have access to the contextual information. So you can create your HTML widgets. A geostory instead is a story map. It is a story map. Yes, what is a story map or a story, storytelling, where you can build a timeline, so a visual story, using all the resources that you have on the instance. So they can be maps, they can be images, videos, audios, image and documents, everything in a single view. I will show you the editor, which is quite straightforward to use with advanced features. You have an index on at the top, and you can share it to see it. Yeah, you can share it and embed it even in third-party websites. So let's see how we can upload a data set. Then we'll see how to build a map and how a Geostory and the dashboard are built. Of course, if you have questions during the presentation, the demo, Ryan, you can have a look to the questions. You can interrupt me. Let me check if, okay, Elena is still unable to join. So adding a resource is very straightforward. You have the option to upload a dataset document or create resources. Of course, you can only upload the basic resources. So what are used to build the others? So if I want to upload the dataset, let's take, for example, well, I live in Italy, so I will show you something from Italy. For example, the regions, the Italian regions. So I select the shapefiles. I have the option to select raster vector data in the same. I mean, I don't have to switch between different uploads. So here I'm choosing a shapefile. So start the transfer, and now the upload, the import has started. This is asynchronous. I can reload the page and it's still there. So if you have very huge data sets, you can get back later. You can even close your session and get back afterward and see if it's completed. And when it's completed, you have the view option and the data set is already here. So I would say straightforward. Now, since for this instance, we have the public by default configuration, anyone can view and download this data set. In case it was private, you would see known. So nobody can view this data set, okay? We have basic information created for us, which is already, I mean, the basic information for the Dublin core component metadata, but we can, of course, extend the information by editing the metadata from here and apply categories, groups, key text keywords, and other optional metadata. So there are a lot of them, even assigning a DOI, to DOI, so a unique identifier that is different depending on what system you adopt. For example, we have a project where we're going to implement the DataSite metadata system, and so the DOI will be obtained from the DataSite APIs directly. The inline styling. So if I go to edit styling, here we have the visual editor ready. We can decide to already classify and select the region, and it will automatically classify. Of course, classification is not the best in this case, but I mean, you can choose whatever, even sort of random values. And you see the live preview here. And when you are happy with that, you can just apply and get back to your resource. In that case, you can update your thumbnail, which is the image that is shown in the home page. So I can click it and apply the new thumbnail. And now when I go back to the home page and I refresh it, I will see the updated thumbnail. If you have experience with previous versions of GeoNode, you will see that it's very, it's more quick, it's quicker and straightforward to work with that. Also for the other functionality, data editing is in line, so you can work on the data if you have the grants to do that. Of course, as a public user, I won't be able to see this, but here I can edit the data. And the export tool gives you the option to export in multiple formats, HTML, shapefile, CSV. You can export everything or crop the dataset to the current viewport. So if I'm in this region and I click this, it will crop the data to this area. Or you can decide to download only the filtered datasets, and you can apply filtering from this button. So you can create spatial filter or attribute filters from here. And when you have your datasets, you can either create a map from the homepage button or directly from here. Someone is confused by the concept of a map because it's a map. We already have a map. But what you actually have here is a preview of your data set, okay? So it's just a simple preview. You can use it as a map. You can share it, of course, but the map gives you more options over this preview where you just have a legend and stop, okay? You cannot control and save the configurations for this map. But when you create a map, and I already have the data set here, you will see the table of contents with many options to manage how we want to view this layer, even including, for example, applying filtering to the layer in this map. So just showing certain points, for example, only this. Okay, so now, yes, now this map is showing only a portion of the data set. At the same time, I can add other data sets. For example, for this area, I don't know if I have something in this area, but I can add, well, I still have Italy. Well, nothing relevant. Well, this province in Italy. So I can add this data set. And now I have the data set here. And in this case, this is the default styling for this data set. So the owner of this data set created this style, but now I can choose to use a different styling for the data set when shown in this map. So I can decide to fill it in green, orange. And now the data set in this map will always be orange, okay? Now when I'm done, I can save the map. This is not saved yet, so it's not published. I can save it by clicking Save As and an Italian map. Just a simple map, okay? Save it. And now the map is published and I get all the options to edit the permissions, to view the map, to share the map, or edit the metadata and do the other advanced features for any resource. So if I go to the home page, I will see this map. So clicking on maps. Yeah, this is a map. And you will see that it has the filtered data sets with the other data set. Let me see if no, not yet. Okay, let's go on without Elena, unfortunately. So now we have a map. We also already have documents. So let's see how a Geostory can be built. I won't build it from scratch. I will show you how to create a new Geostory, but then we will see how the stories built from Elena are designed. So you can create a Geostory in a dashboard from here. So for example, a dashboard. You can add a map, for example, the one that we created. Okay. A map. And it's there, and I can place it wherever I want in the dashboard. And then I can add a table from a data set. So for example, Italy. So test layer, okay. And I decide to show only a few density. Let's see, a table. Now I have the table. Now this table is not linked to this map because it's coming from a different data set. So if I move around, it won't update. I would have to find the table for this layer. In that case, if I show a table for this data set, it will be linked. So if I move around, it will be linked to the viewing. I will show you in the map in the dashboard from Elena, and so on. So we have counters, we have charts, several types of charts. Still, I have to select what I want to show. And I can bar chart, pie chart, line chart, and multiple charts. Different charts are available depending on the type of data set. Okay. And yeah, I can build my dashboard, save it, and yet again you will have your resource with sharing and editing metadata options. Similarly, we can do the same for a Geostory. So a blank dashboard where I can set a title, a story, and this choose, for example, a map. Here it is. And then I can add something more. I can add another title section, a section. And then here I want to put a video, for example. Say, I don't know what this is. Oh, well, let's try it with this. So I click the image, apply it, and I have my image here. And I can, of course, change properties. Properties depending on the type of widget I'm using. Okay. So, and when I can preview it. So here it is. And when I'm ready, I can save it and do whatever I want. I can add banners, paragraphs, immersive sections, carousels, so geo carousels, media sections, and web page. So I can even embed an external web page inside so if I take a master demo web page and I put it here, I get the master demo embedded inside the story map. So let's see, for example, how Elena built these. So this is the editing view of the story map that we were seeing before. And you see a lot of widgets have been created with a structure on the left. So the caption, the caption, and then we have an introduction with the text, which is this one, and then a map inside of it. Then we have another section, Europe, that is, if I click, yeah, this is Europe with a map. And then we have this section. This is every section is a block. You can see it's highlighted, and you can nest blocks inside each other. So this section has a map, then some text, which is Mount Vesuvius, which is a block which contains inside a text, this one, and an image, this one. So you can see every container, every block. In every block, you can add other containers. So nesting everything under each container. And so this is another section with the text. This is just the divider, okay, of the sections. And then you move to the other section, which is this one. So it's, I think it's really easy to understand how it works. I mean, there's a documentation, of course, for that, but I mean, everything is visual, and the structure is quick, easy to understand, navigate, and the options that you have are contextual. So you don't have to spot what you can do. You can guess it directly from the options that are provided contextually. And for a dashboard like this, same. In this case, if I move, you will see that the widgets update. This is because these widgets are connected to this map. So if I edit and we configure the map, well, I cannot see it from here, but yeah, when this was built for this widget, the same data set as this was selected. So, and in this case, you have the option to link the widgets between each other. And you can download the data that these charts refers to. So you can even show the chart data. You see, this is the visual tabular vision of the data. We have many more widgets coming out, because these are widgets that are built on a chart library that provides a lot of features. Of course, the general purpose features are already inside the client, but there are so many specific use cases that can be built, and the framework behind the widgets library is capable is able to provide a lot of more features than what you have, off the shelf, okay, let's say. And if I click this and I go to the embed, I wanted to show you. So I took the embed dashboard, and this is what you get: a full web page without any frame outside of it. So you can take it and embed it inside a third-party website. One important thing: if you have dashboards with private data, so you don't want to give this data outside, you can call the embed links with a key, an API key that you can get from the administrators that will give you, login access to these data sets. So you can share, for example, a key to your third-party website, a key that will give access, read-only access, for example, to the data sets. This is important because there are situations where you want to lock GeoNode. What this means is that there are many customers that don't want to even give a preview of the data. So everything is under authentication. So when you get to GeoNode, you get the authentication page, okay? The login page. So in that case, you cannot share or embed the views directly because you will be banned by the login. So in that case, you can use the API key to embed the views inside third-party websites without having to make your GeoNode public. The same as for Geostory. So if you have the Geostory and you want to view it full page, take the embed, and here you have the Geostory. Okay, even for sharing, even as a web page itself, because you can. We have customers that build stories very complex and stories that are worth a dedicated web page. So you can just take it and publish as a distinct web page from GeoNode. For documents, basically things are the same. So for a video, you can have a preview of a video embedded, and you can share it. For PDFs, the same. I don't have a PDF here. Oh, yes, we have a PDF here. No, it's not PDF. It's a GIF. But if I upload a PDF that I don't have right now, maybe this one. Yeah. So you have the browser preview embedded. And we are adding more viewers for additional data types. One work in progress is to provide viewers for non-spatial tabular data. Because in this moment, when you talk about data sets in GeoNode, we are talking about geospatial data sets, either raster or vectors, but not an Excel file or a CSV. In those cases, you have to upload them as documents in this moment, and they will be treated as documents. So as normal, like, I mean, without distinction between a CSV and a Word file. In the future, we will probably have the ability to upload non-spatial datasets. And so basically what you have as a preview in a dashboard, when you go to the dashboard, you can see a table and a chart. So basically you will have a viewer for your tabular data like this, without a map, not geolocated data, but have a preview of the data and download the data and use this tabular data inside Geostories and the rest, even if they have not geolocated information.
Yeah. Giovanni, not sure if we are running out of time, but apparently Elena is able to present now, but don't know if...
we have time. We have another 17 minutes. I would love to see the volcano story that she put together. Okay. It's a very nice finished product. So I don't know if you want to jump in.
Yeah, if Elena is there, you can show how you built that live.
Yes, hi to everyone.
I will stop sharing. Can you share? You will share the screen.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, you can see my screen, I think.
Yes.
So here we have the Geostory about volcanoes, and this Geostory tells about the active volcanoes in the world.
Sorry, Elena, for interrupting.
Yes.
Can you switch your GeoNode to English, please?
Oh yes, of course. Wait a moment.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, the story tells about the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, and I made it with the beautiful GeoNode and Geostory apps. Sorry. Okay. And as you can see, Geostory is a visual editor to create scrollable multimedia content with the map with the interaction. Because you can see the different information about the data in the map, and you can also see an image, a text, and a different section on this content. For example, this one is a geocarousel section. But I can show you how is possible to create a new Geostory. You need to click on Add the Resources and click on Create a Geostory. Here we have a new empty Geostory. We have the builder and the content of the section that will make up the Geostory. First of all, we have a title section. The title section is formed by a background and a text area where we can insert the title and customize it with the different with the font or add different sites and maybe the color in this way. You can also change the background, and the background it can be an image, a video, and a map. You can choose an image from the GeoNode list, or you can add a new one clicking on Add and enter a URL URL of the image. In this case, we have this little icon for the volcanoes. We can enter it, and then we can modify the size of the background, or we can change the position on the layout. We have also different kind of section, the banner, the paragraph, the immersive section, the geocarousel section, the media, and the web page section. I can show one, maybe the immersive section is like the title section, but in this case we can add image, video, and map, and we can also enter on the content a new text, a media, and the web page. I can show an example. For example, I can add a map, and then I can write some text. Oops. And then I had an image. And here we have an example of immersive section.
At this stage, Elena, how can I preview what I've done so far?
Yes. Okay.
Even without saving, I guess. It's no. Oh, sorry. No, previewing inside the context while editing. There's a
yeah. I can do with the one.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the edit mode, and through this button you have the view mode, so you can see the final result. In this way, with the edit story button, you can change and edit all the story. The section of the story.
Okay, thanks, Helena.
I can show other things if you.
I don't know if there are specific things, specific requests from participants to see something specific. I don't know. I haven't gone through the questions. Ryan?
Yes, I believe we've answered most of them.
Okay.
Live. Alessio's been doing a good job answering those, but I do want to say that Elena, thank you very much for the demonstration on Geostory and how to create them. I think that this is a very powerful tool. I know in emergency management, for example, the Red Cross uses, they have director's briefs, right? And it's up to the minute kind of disaster response, emergency management type applications with evacuation routes and content and displaced persons and all kinds of spatiotemporal data with mixed content such as videos and live pictures and feeds from drones, et cetera. So this is a very powerful dashboard and platform for telling a live story. And in the volcano, I really like the volcano example. It's a beautiful finished product. So thank you for that. If there are any additional questions that have not been answered, feel free. I think you can raise your hand or actually just post to the Q&A. Looks like Emilio Fadini. Emilio. He asks, is there a way to export a Geostory to another GeoNode?
Well, at the moment, not from the UI. I mean, there's no direct way to do that. You can, of course, export when you do a dump, when you export with the usual backup utilities from GeoNode, you get a dump also for Geostory, and you can restore it inside the other instance. But no, I wouldn't say an export and upload thing is not available at the moment.
Okay. Let's see. And I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. Oh, this comes from Arsu Historic del Publino. The point is using the REST API only exports to Geostory, but not the maps and the like. So it is not true. Okay, that's not really a question. Let me see what else is here.
Well, yes, you're right. I mean, the REST API at the moment only exports the Geostory. And this is one of the things that we want to improve in the future, which is link everything to everything. At the moment, we have links between maps and datasets and documents, but not between, well, actually, we have also the information that links Geostory in the dashboard to the datasets and to the documents, because, I mean, they're available inside the database. And yeah, we are planning to make them available inside the API response. So you can travel the response and get the references to the original to the original resources. So in theory, you have all information to get the whole Geostory and the connected resources from the API.
Excellent. Another question. We have a few more minutes. Isidro Puig asks, says, I need to set up a public IDE SDI with GeoNode 4. I want to do it from a workstation PC that we will use as a server. Can you recommend what application or software to use to work as a web server for public use?
Alessio, do you want to answer?
Okay, so if I'm not sure if I understand correctly, if you want to work locally on your workstation, or you want to set up your workstation in order to be available for other people to develop. And also it depends on which operative system you are running into your workstation. Typically, what I do personally to work locally is to basically set up GeoNode into the Windows WSL2 subsystem, run all the services there, and then link Visual Studio to the GeoNode code. Eventually, it is possible also to develop directly inside a Docker container. There should be Docker compose.development something project available on GeoNode that allows you to run some Docker instances, and then you can link your Visual Studio tool directly to the Docker image, to the container, and develop inside the Docker container. This is a bit dangerous because if you break something, you will need to fix it manually, but it is feasible. Not okay. Sure if I answered the question.
Excellent, thank you. Isidro, if that did not answer your question fully, you can email us at info@geosolutionsgroup.com, or I'll put my email in the chat as well. And we will, it sounds like it might be more of a a deeper technical issue, and we can answer it more thoroughly for you if that wasn't a complete answer. Abdelia asks, is Docker the only recommended way to set up GeoNode? Is a setup on Ubuntu still recommended?
You want me to reply, Giovanni, or you want
yeah,
to...
I mean, yeah, it's continuation of the previous answer. So
yeah, okay. So, but it's not easy to answer. It's the preferred way. It really depends on your specific needs. I mean, if you want to install GeoNode for development, I would probably go for the advanced setup. If you want to set up a complex system where you would like to have some clusters of GeoServer, some replica of database Postgres, and possibly also some clusters of GeoNode. In that case, probably Docker won't be feasible because it will need a lot of development in order to adapt to this kind of environment, although it is feasible. The standard way, and yeah, I would recommend Docker. We have planned to review the Docker images because currently we identified some things that can be improved and some also potential security leaks. But on ourselves, we put a lot of effort of improving the Docker publishing and deployment. Yes, so this is the recommended way.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we're coming up on the end of our time. There are a couple of leftover questions, it looks like. Real quick, are you considering a light version for small organizations?
Well, no, there's not a concept of light version. And light version is the one with a single service, so without clustering, without replication. So you can switch off some of the services that are automatically run by Docker, for example, Jenkins, Job, and some other services. But the main services that are running in the stack are needed for GeoNode to work. So there's a minimum requirement that is the standard that you get when you set up GeoNode from scratch now.
Okay. Ruby Dario Ramirez, I see your question. However, I think we're out of time. We do have your email addresses. If you have questions that we're not able to get to, we'll do our best to get to them. Again, our email address is info@geosolutionsgroup.com. I posted that in the chat. You can also go to our website and post through our landing page as well. And very appreciative for everybody's time today. Thank you to the presenters. That was absolutely fantastic. Hopefully this was a lot of valuable information on GeoNode and Geostory. Elena, thanks again for your presentation. I actually live on an extinct volcano in Oregon, and hopefully where I live never ends up on your Geostory. So with that, I want to thank everyone once again. Fantastic webinar, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one or at FOSS4G. And thanks again.
Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks, Ryan. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone. Bye bye.